Hello.
Hey Bob, Jason here.
Hey, how you doing?
Very good. Let's start with how's Bob Kulick doing these days?
Doing good. Actually, last night I got up and jammed with my brother Eric Singer and Gene Simmons at the Rocktoberfest charity that Gene's been putting on all week here in Los Angeles.
Kind of like a big Kiss reunion there.
Yeah, it does indeed. Obviously when people found out that Bruce and I were actually going to get up and play with Gene and Eric, the paparazzi kind of gathered around, and we've got some pictures. If you look online, there's a whole bunch of pictures already today. And, it was kind of just get up there and see what happens kind of thing, but it was fun. The crowd went wild, and it was just a great night, charity event, and it was great to hang out with Gene and get up on stage and play with him. I played with Paul on his solo tour back in the day, and, got the experience of playing on stage with him. And last night, getting up on stage with Gene and Bruce and Eric was no less fun.
Now, how often does this happen? When you do get on stage with, let's say, your brother?
Well, Bruce and I, we play together from time to time. We did a Kiss convention a couple of months ago. We had a Q&A together. We didn't play, but there was another time right before that where we got up and played. John Corabi sang and we played. So that happens. And, we're actually working on some material now, and we'll see where that goes.
Besides that, you're doing a lot of work in studios and stuff like that nowadays?
Yeah, I have my recording studio here in Van Nuys, California. And we're actually in production with an Australian band that flew all the way here from Perth to record with us. So we're doing a 16-song CD for them. And we're also working on a metal Michael Jackson tribute.
Wow.
We have some really great people on that. The usual assortment of great players, Billy Sheehan and Tony Franklin and Rudy Sarzo and Craig Goldie and Brother Bruce and Doug Aldrich, a bunch of great people. And we have some very unique singers participating in this, different than some of the other records I've done. Corey Glover from Living Colour and Angelo from Fishbone, Doug Pinnick from King's X, LeJean Witherspoon from Seven Dust, Danny Worsnop from Asking Alexandria, Paul Diano. We have some really great people on there.
Sounds like it. Why do you think it took so long to make a Michael Jackson metal tribute? Throughout all these years, we've never seen one.
Yeah, it just seemed like, in conjunction with the label that we're working with on this Cleopatra, it seemed like a really good idea to take some of these great songs that have never ever been given this kind of approach to them. Obviously Beat It and Thriller and Bad are, they're not lightweight songs like some of the other ones. Those we just made darker and heavier. But, The Way You Make Me Feel and Rock With You and all of that stuff, we kind of really gave a heavy hand to. And because they're great songs, they still totally work as metal or hard rock songs.
Let's say throughout the years of you being in studios and stuff, did you see much change? And what's your take on how it's going today, all digitized and stuff like that?
Well, as far as the recording process, the Pro Tools thing has been around for a while now. Just keep making improvements on that. And, there's no substitute for a great song and a performance of a great song. But, the recording tools can help make whatever has been recorded better via editing and cutting and pasting and, moving stuff around like that, the machinery now compared to the old analog tape, which was, you could only do so much too, that was a little different.
What type of amps do you use today? And do you still use the same equipment?
Well, I've been using these brand new amps that have actually been around for a while. This guy, Rick, who was Angus from AC/DC's Tech, he came up with these amps called Wizard amps. And it's like the best Marshall you could ever imagine in your life. It's just a totally upscale amp that this guy makes. It's a boutique amp. They're very expensive. And we have a few of those at the studio. And like on Dee Snider's record, when we did all those Broadway show tunes, those amps were able to allow the playing of chords that are usually not associated with rock tunes, diminished chords and stuff like that, and allow them to transpose so that they really sing out rather than being just a mess. So that's what I've been using now is those wizards with my E.S.P guitars, of course. I have an endorsement with E.S.P, and they make really great stuff.
And I'm sure this guy from Wizard worked with Marshall at some time, probably?
No, he didn't work with them. He just came up with his own thing. I'm just saying, just for reference sake,
right,
that it sounds like the best Marshall. It's not a Marshall in any way, shape, or form. It's a custom amp that he made that resembles a Marshall in that it's, when we all first played through Marshalls, we all thought, wow, holy shit, this is amazing. Well, that's what this amp is like.
Let's say besides that amp, what would you say the classic holy grail of guitar amps would be?
Well, today it's the Wizard. This definitely takes the cake, shall we say.
When you look at your playing on certain stuff, with Kiss, Killers, the tracks that we got on that, from 1982, your guitar approach, like on solos and stuff, is very unique, and as well as your brother is very unique. How did you learn to get to this way of playing?
Well, I guess, you're a product of your influences. And, fortunately, I was able to see Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix and Jimmy Page, the top of the food chain players of what was available. And I was also lucky enough to work with a guitar player named Dick Wagner, who is a guy who played with Alice Cooper and Lou Reed. Got me the gig with Alice Cooper when I played with Alice back in the day. And he kind of, up close and personal, to play with somebody like that, somebody who played with fire and brimstone and who had a really good understanding of arrangements and chords and approach and that. He was a huge influence on my playing.
Dick Wagner's an awesome player as well. I've interviewed him probably 4 times, and the stuff I get out of him, in conversations is incredible.
Yeah, an incredible player, totally, yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, just, and a great songwriter and arranger and producer.
So in that sense, Dick Wagner would be high up there on your list.
Extremely high. As an influence, sometimes like on Paul's record, I would just say to myself, what would Dick play? How would he approach this? Then I would just come up with like Tonight You Belong to Me or something like that.
And when you look at a player like Dick Wagner, that he's not really referenced in Guitar World magazine and stuff like that. Why would a player like that not be more notable than what he is?
Well, I would say because he was primarily a backup player, in that he backed up Lou Reed, he backed up Alice Cooper, so it wasn't Jeff Beck group. It wasn't Eric Clapton that he was in Cream, even though he had his band Frost. It wasn't big enough that it attracted all that attention.
So Kiss Forever instructional DVD. Now, how's this doing? Is people still really into this? And I'm sure it's doing good.
People always ask, they always ask about, those songs, Larger Than Life, and, Rockin' in the USA, and, that stuff. They always ask about, that stuff. What can I say? It was fun to revisit that. Gene mentioned it last night to me. It was hilarious. I said to him, so you want to do Larger Than Life? And he just laughed, So, but yeah, those songs were special. And, it was great that I was able to showcase them on the DVD with my brother.
And when you went to do this, did you have to revisit it in a sense, or did you kind of already knew what you're doing?
No, I had to revisit, of course, just to make sure I had what I played correct, and also because I didn't remember some of the little licks that I played that, were sort of like the signature stuff that I did. Conceptually I remembered it, but not note for note, and I wanted to play it note for note.
Now, Bob, let's say learning guitar today, what's your take on that, and where do you go to learn new stuff, let's say, if you do, and how's the approach for new students today, coming with YouTube now?
Well, certainly anybody who wants to learn how to play, there's more stuff available to check out, tabs, and they show you the chords and all this stuff. One could just Google their favorite song and go right there to see what the story is with that. There's no substitute for practicing. There's no substitute for going to see somebody play in person so you can actually, see it in person and all of that. So in that way, I kind of feel the old school way. But again, there's far more opportunities now because of the internet.
And what do you do to learn more?
Me?
Yes.
I just try to be creative and come up with other stuff. I might hear something I like that I might try to cop, but that's usually pretty rare. I kind of try to stick to what I do. When George Lynch was in the studio, when we were working with George, he's pretty inspiring, and there were a few things that I kind of conceptually got off of him as far as, some ideas.
And then you can come up with your own unique way of doing this.
Exactly.
And in which case you are a unique player and you've done great work.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I can tell you that much. And keep up the good work. Very good honor to talk to you finally. It's taken us a long time, but it's got done.
Sorry, I just been so busy. I wanted to be able to have a few minutes to be able to spend.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Bob. And, Bob, you have a great weekend.
You too. Great talking to you. Thanks. Let me know about it.